Good evening. I'm leaving the Tyson plant in Holcomb, Kansas. Wait a minute, put this stupid seatbelt on. This thing starts beeping. Alright. This load was supposed to be ready at 2 o'clock this afternoon. It is now 10:45 in the evening. So I've been up all day waiting on it. Excuse me. We got 400 miles to Edwardsville, Kansas. It's over by Kansas City. Supposed to be there at 1 o'clock. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Not a big deal. That's Tyson to Tyson, so they know it's late. It's a drop and hook on both ends. It just makes for a long night. It's going to be a long night. Hope to get there by 5:30. We'll stop in Abilene and Kansas and get some fuel, top off that reefer, so I'm be sure it has 3/4 of a tank in it by the time I get there. What's going on with this plant here in Holcomb, Kansas, man? They've been having problems since right after Christmas. I was supposed to pick up a load here when I left the house. What did I end up doing? I don't remember. I'd have to go back and I did get a load here, but it took a minute. I was supposed to go to Cactus, and Cactus was backed up. And then Holcomb here, they had a shutdown. And yeah, it was kind of a mess getting out of the house after Christmas. But I end up with, I don't remember, about 3,300 miles for the week, which is not bad. They'd like for you to get at least 3,500 here if possible. But you can't always do that. You can get 4,000 miles a week here legally, which I've said that before. If you're doing mostly dropping hooks that week and they're ready. Excuse me. So another nighttime video. To be honest, I'd rather run this overnight. And when I say that, I'd rather have left about 6 or 7 instead of 10:45. But, you know, I would rather run over to Edwardsville overnight. It's 2 lane till you get to Ellsworth. Well, no, it's not. It's 2 lane till you get to Salina now, because they have that on-ramp there in Ellsworth closed still to get on the I-70. So I have to make a right and go to Salina on the back road and then get on I-70. Alright, there I go. I'm yawning already. Last time we talked, I was on my way way to Wichita. I'm trying to think, have I done a video since then? No, I haven't. Have I? No. Well, I got to Wichita, and a weekend dispatcher, Kathy, calls me and she goes, "Why are you in Wichita?" I said, "What do you mean, why am I in Wichita? Got a load to Wichita." She said, "You weren't supposed to take that load to Wichita. You were supposed to just drop that at the yard, and then after your 34 was over, they were going to find you something else, because that doesn't deliver till Monday." I said, "That's not what I was told." I walked into the office, into the dispatch office in Greeley, and looked her right in the eye, the daytime, one of the daytime dispatchers, not the one I usually work with, but another one, and told her, "Hey, I'm going to leave for Wichita tonight because I want to get my 34 in." She said, "Okay, no problem. You got plenty of time anyway. It doesn't deliver." And I said, "No." She said, "You got plenty of time." And I said, "Yeah, it doesn't deliver till Monday, so." So nothing was said about, "Oh no, you're supposed to leave that at the yard." So anyway, long story short, they went ahead and had me take that, even though I was sitting in Wichita, they went ahead and had me take that load to our yard here in Garden City, Kansas, and drop it, and then wait on this load. So they actually paid me the miles to go from Greeley to Wichita, and then Wichita back west to Garden City. So I actually made an extra 200 miles off that trip. Because she's like, they don't want you sitting there. And I appreciate that they don't want me sitting there. I said, well, I didn't want to sit there either, but, I usually get good miles with this company. Now I thought, well, maybe they have absolutely no one else that can take it, and so that's fine. I'll take one for the team and sit here. Not a big deal. But anyway, that's why I'm in Holcomb, Kansas now, instead of sitting at the Loves in Wichita. Somebody else is going to, hopefully they already have, I don't know. Well, it's only 4.5 hours. So maybe somebody will pick up this Wichita load. I dropped it at the yard yesterday morning. No, this morning. Yeah, dropped it early this morning. Technically last night, it was a little before midnight. And somebody's going to pick it up and take it on to back to Wichita. But like I said, they could have said, "Oh, well, too bad, so sad. You're sitting in Wichita till Monday." But they didn't. They said, "No, we'll eat." They ate, and I figured they'd make me eat the miles from Wichita to Garden, which I'd have done, even though it wasn't my fault. But she got, no, we'll pay you. I'm going to set up a load through McLeod from Greeley to Wichita, and then we'll show you dropping it and then picking it back up in Wichita, taking it to Garden City. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. And some people may think, well, you're being too nice by thinking you were going to eat those miles. It's not that I'm being nice. It's just this company has always done good about giving me plenty of miles. Plenty of miles. I worked here during COVID, and I think I've talked about this. We were running 5,000 miles a week. Now, we had you had the hours of service exemption going on then. I made good money. This guy in front of me is doing 53 and a 55. I do not understand guys like that. 55 through here. I just hope he isn't going the way I'm going. But anyway, yeah, I always get good miles here, man. I mean, in fact, they have problems finding drivers here that want to run. Now, they run legal. When I say run, I don't mean they're going to make you run over your hours. But just finding guys who will run overnight. You know, they have a hard time finding guys who will do that. Like I said, they shoot for everybody getting 3,500 miles a week. Doesn't always happen, but most of the time you get that and even more. Like I said, last week I was a little short. I was about 32. Or this past week. Time goes in at midnight tonight. Or Monday morning. Whatever you want to call it. Sunday night, Monday morning. There you go. Keep on going. There you go. Oh, that's one of those milk haulers. Yeah, he's going down here to the dairy. There in Garden. I've hauled milk, although he may be empty going that way. I don't know, but if you've never hauled milk, there's no baffles in those tankers for milk. And it will beat you to death. I've hauled crude oil and hydrous. I've hauled fuel, gasoline, diesel. No problem. Everything's production water. Production water trailers have baffles. If you're hauling, anybody's ever hauled gasoline or whatever, they know they have compartments in those fuel tankers. Crude oil trailers also have baffles. So not a huge deal. Although we had a couple of guys turn over hauling crude oil. But still, it's not nearly as bad when you stop and start. But milk, when you come to a stop, you brace yourself because you're going to get that, it's going to sway, it's going to go back, and then that big wave of milk is going to come back forward again, and bam, it's going to hit you. So you just kind of wait for it because you know you're about to get slammed every time you stop. And when you take off, it's going to fight against you real quick. I don't know why I got into talking about that. I'm just saying. They didn't used to have a light here. It used to be a four-way stop. It wasn't the hardest place to make a turn at, but they decided to put a light here. I really don't think they need one, but it's whatever. It's not my circus, it's not my monkeys. Well, I guess it is because I'm the one sitting here at almost 11 o'clock at night. Got a whole 1,600 miles on it. Doesn't do too bad pulling considering it's, it needs to get broke in. Still has that new smell to it, In fact, the first night I slept in it, my eyes were burning because it had that new smell, so, it was so strong. because you will get some crazy people on it that'll try to pass with traffic coming the other way. And as you can see, there's no shoulder on it, and it drops right off, so there's no place to go, really. You get some nut coming at you in your lane, yeah, you really have no place to go. Plus, they don't do a very good job of plowing it off in the winter, although we haven't had that problem this winter. We hadn't had much for winter yet, so. I don't worry about things like that. It's my time to go, it's my time to go. I've never really been one to worry about, like, oh, what if? As far as like dying or something. I just don't think about those things. I guess that's why I did good in Alaska, because, you know, you think about those things running to Dalton, and I mean, you're going to be constantly stressing. I mean, I don't want to die, don't get me wrong, but it is what it is, you know. Thank you, since I dimmed mine way back there. And one guy tailgating them. They're bad about that on this road too. They'll tailgate you. The road could be wide open. There's nobody coming the other way, and they'll just sit there and ride right on the back, your back end, no matter how fast you're going. It's never fast enough. And while I'm not going to discuss how fast I'm going, let's just say I'm definitely not going under the speed limit. Should have turned this into a live stream. Not, you know, I say that nobody probably would have came on, you know, this late at night without any warning. So, well. Saw some comments on a Facebook group about going to Texas to work in the oil field. I'll throw this out there, and I've talked about oil field driving on my videos before, because I used to do it. There's things you got to understand. If you're going to move to Texas to drive an oil field, going to Dallas or Houston or Austin or something, or El Paso is not going to help you. Most of the oil field that's going on right now in Texas is the Permian Basin. It's Midland, Odessa, it's over towards Hobbs and Roswell, New Mexico, that area, or South Texas, down just south of San Antonio. That area, you see some stuff too. Where I live in the Panhandle, it's hit and miss. I mean, you can get an oil field job there, but chances are, if you don't live there, they're not going to hire you. Because I don't know of any of those places that have man camps. Same thing with Western Oklahoma. I do know one or two places in Western Oklahoma that has a man camp, but most of them in the Panhandle don't. Some of them around the middle of Odessa do, but most of them in other places don't. So you're going to be out in the desert is where you're going to be. You just keep that in mind. And if you've never driven off-road before, I'm going to tell you right now, this is, and I've said this 1,000 times and I'll say it again, the one thing that prepared me for driving in Alaska was driving in the oil field off-road. It is a totally different world from driving up and down a highway. So if you've never done it, just keep that in mind. Also, if you have an automatic restriction on your license, you're going to have a hard time finding a driving job in the oil field, because most oil field companies, trucking companies, have manual transmissions. So I would suggest, if you have an automatic restriction, get it taken off. However you got to do that. I don't know how you do that. When I got my license, there was no such thing, so I don't even know. I didn't even know until a couple of years ago that was a thing. So I don't know how you can take that off. You got to take another road test in a manual transmission truck. I don't know. Now they say these new automatics, these 18-speed automatics, they say they're a game changer. I don't know. Never driven one. But anyway, just understand, you're going to have to move out to West Texas, and manual transmission, and you're going to be driving off-road. And you're not going to be able to wear your shorts and sandals and all that crap. You can just forget about that. You're going to be out there. It's going to be hot in the summer, and the winters get awfully cold in the winter, or in the desert. I'm just warning you of that too. There's no trees. There's nothing to block the wind. So it gets cold. And in the summertime it gets hot. And you're wearing a hard hat. You're wearing FRs. That's oil field attire. That's a long sleeve shirt and pants, steel toe boots. So the pay's good. You know, I'm not trying to discourage you from doing it. I'm just saying, it's not for guys who want to be a Nancy. It's not for the pretty boys. If you're worried about your chrome getting dirty on your truck, stay the hell out of the oil field. We ain't got time for that. You're going to get dirty. Your truck's going to get dirty. Everything's going to get dirty. You don't like to get dirty and sweaty? Don't do it. Personally, I like to get dirty and sweaty. It doesn't bother me. In fact, the drawback to this job, I like these people. They have great equipment. You get good miles, but I'm bored to death. I'll admit it. I am bored to death. I am. It's not their fault. There's just not a lot of adventure in this. This is sitting and driving. That's what this is. That's what this is. think it's something I could go on a rant about. I don't know. I usually go on a rant about something. I go this way to Dodge sometimes, to Dodge City. I'll go this way. I turn south up here in Larned, and then I turn east on this other state highway, and then south down to Highway 50. I used to go that way just to get away from that stretch of 2-lane road between Cimarron and Dodge. Now they've made that a 4-lane. It's not as bad as it was. You used to run into a lot of slow pokes on that road, but it's not near as bad. Or going to Emporia, I used to go this way. And I cut down, like I say, cut down the Highway 50. But we don't go to Emporia anymore. They shut that Emporia plant down. That was a Tyson IBP plant. They're still working on these bridges. I forgot about that. Don't tell me they still got these 1-lane roads up here. Oh man, I totally forgot about that. It's been a minute since I've gone this way. I remember right, there were like 3 of them. This one doesn't have a light at it. You just got to go around it. There's 1 or 2 of them that had a red light. job at this place that I'm always in a hurry. Even when I'm not. I mean, like that trip to Wichita. When I thought I was going to have to sit on it, I left Greeley that night. I made one stop in Bennett, Colorado to get fuel, and that was it. Run straight to Wichita. I'm just like that. When I went to Alaska, I really had to learn to slow down, because running to Dalton is not about speed. It's about just getting there in one piece, getting there alive in the winter, and in the summer, getting your truck and yourself there in one piece without beating yourself to death. And so I had to learn to slow down a bit. Question is, will I go back next winter? I don't know. I like being home. By next winter, I may not even be driving OTR anymore. I don't know. I just don't know. Well, there's a rest area right here to the left. This is the rest area where I told you in a previous video, I stopped to take a 10-hour break. I woke up before my 10-hour break was up, opened the curtains, and there was a Kansas State Trooper parked, nosed up right in front of me. Right, I mean, I'd have to have backed up to go around him. And I closed the curtains again, went back in the bunk, finished my 10-hour break. Said, nope, not getting out, not getting in that seat, not going to do it. I got up later after my 10-hour break, and he was gone. There's that rest area right there. Because if I go to Edwardsville and then they deadhead me back to Holcomb, I can't make it back. I either stop up here in Pawnee Rock, or I'll stop right there. I can usually just squeeze out enough time to make it to this rest area. Just depends. But I can't quite make it to Garden. Right here, I'm 34 miles from Holcomb. So I get that close, but there's a little pull-off area in Pawnee Rock up here I'll stop at sometimes. Or I'll stop in Abilene, out there on I-70. Just depends how I feel. If I have no load, I'll park right there at Tyson. There's a place you can park. Or if they don't have an empty trailer for me, that happens sometimes. And I'll just go ahead and take a 10-hour break if I'm not in a hurry. Being that it's Sunday night, unless our weekend dispatcher has already got me pre-assigned to something for tomorrow, chances are that they won't have anything. I'll be getting there pretty early in the morning, especially for Colorado time. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not going to cry if they don't have anything for me, because I'm probably going to be tired. I've been up all day waiting on this. That's the bad thing about that, You're up all day waiting on it because it's late, and then bam, you got to run. I do good until my bad time is about 4 or 5 in the morning. Between there and sunup, that's when I get sleepy. And if I can make it to sunup, then I'm good. But I've heard a lot of guys say the same thing. Right before sunup is a hard time, because your body knows you should be sleeping, but you're not. And that time, man, I don't know why, it's rough. Or if I'm running good and then I got to stop for something. Like that stupid 30-minute break, which I shouldn't have to do on this one. I will have to stop and get fuel. Well, I've stopped and make sure the reefer's topped off. I'll go ahead and top the truck off too. But I mean, like when I was hauling in hydrous from Amarillo to Benson, Arizona, I think I was doing that 3 times a week. Yeah, I would have to stop somewhere, around Lordsburg, New Mexico, and take a 30-minute break. And it was usually early in the morning, late at night, and it would just make me sleepy. That's all I did was get sleepy over it. That's why I say it needs to go. There's a good rant. The 30-minute break needs to go. And for all you guys that say, well, I like to stop for 30 minutes, well, then stop. Go ahead and stop. Nobody's saying you can't. You shouldn't be forced to. Because sometimes it just makes it worse. I'm better off I just keep rolling. This is the way I like it. Quiet. Not much traffic. This right here is why I like running overnight. Of course, a lot of times you'll have some four-wheeler that just doesn't want to give you any peace, and they want to speed up and slow down in front of you or something, but usually it's peaceful. When I was hauling crude oil, I mean, we didn't have a set time where we had to start. And I thought about running a lot of my runs overnight. The problem is you have to sample it. You have to put it in the vial, you have to spin it out, and then sample it for what they call BS&W, basic sediment water. And you got to be right on that. Because you go to try to unload that stuff, you know, and it's got too much water or something in it, you'll shut the facility down. It'll stop. So you really want to do that in the daytime. I mean, you could put a light up to that vial at night and kind of check it out, but sometimes if it's just got a lot of sediment in it and it's not water, it's hard to see in the daytime, much less at night. So you kind of want to make sure that you get it right. Now, production water, you just pull that load of production water and go. You know, you don't have to check anything. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. So that's you can run that day, night, whatever you want to do. But crude oil, I mean, they do run crude oil at night. People do it. It's not that people don't do it. I just prefer to do it in the daytime for that reason. But I'd love to do it at night, but I don't. It's too risky unless you have a lot of lights on your trailer. I mean, you got some good floodlights you can put that vial up to, and I carry a little mini spotlight with me. But I don't know. I'm just running the daytime. I'd start early in the morning sometimes, but I'd still prefer to run in the daytime. Especially if it's some new well sites I'm going to. Because you can get on those lease roads, man, and you can drive forever. I mean, you can get lost real easy. There's no signs out there. better now because, like, when I was hauling crude oil, we had Google Maps on there. Everything was, a pin was dropped at every location that we went to, so it's pretty easy to find. You still have to be careful because you had to make sure the road you were going to actually went there, because it would try to route you, and sometimes the routes weren't right, especially parts of the Panhandle where you got a lot of canyons. That would it looks like the road was going to it, but then if you ran that route that it told you to run, you couldn't get there. You could see it on the other side of a canyon, and you're like, oh crap. Then you have to turn around, go down, around, and come back up, and you may burn another 20-30 minutes doing that. But when the first oil field job I had, we just had paper maps. You could get them in the office, and that's the way it was. We were out here like pirates. I remember following a road map. I'd have a road map laying around here somewhere close, and put it on the steering wheel and turn the dome light on, and put a flashlight on it, trying to see that little line on the map in the middle of the night while you're driving. It was interesting. You had to call the shipper or the customer if you've never been there before to get directions. I've got some older videos on my channel, me driving in the oil field, along with, then I got the haul road videos from Alaska. The oil field videos are before I went to Alaska, obviously. Other bridges they're working on the other side of Jetmore, I think. I saw another thing on one of these trucking groups on Facebook. Some guy put real truck drivers wear cowboy hats. Look, man, I live in Texas. I don't wear a cowboy hat. If you want to wear a cowboy hat, wear a cowboy hat. I don't. I have one. I hardly ever wear it. I definitely don't wear it in the truck. But some guys, that's whatever. the closest thing to a rant I'm going to have in this video. A 30-minute break and whether you should wear a cowboy hat or not. That's it. That's all I've got, man. I don't feel like wearing myself out going on a rant over anything else. One good thing, it's 42 degrees. I don't have to worry about any snow or ice or anything. It's the 4th already, about to be the 5th. Man. Seems like just yesterday was New Year's Eve. Fired up. My APU quit working on this truck, brand new truck, and the APU quit working. They got some new fancy design. It's got a whole new control panel and everything. I don't like it. I really don't, but whatever. I guess the old control panels they were too easy to use. Like everything else in this business, when something is too easy to use or it works too well, they scrap it and make something more complicated. And anyway, there's another rant. Stop complicating things. Stop, changing things that work. If it works, it works. Speaking of the oil field, which I was speaking of earlier, I saw an ad to hire guys to haul, I can't remember if it's crude oil or production water, down around Bridgeport, Texas. Now, I wouldn't personally, that's too close to DFW for me. But, if there's somebody who lives down that area, I think they said they had a man camp down there, I think. No, they didn't. That was somebody else. Never mind. So you need to live in that area. Bridgeport, which is northwest of Fort Worth, out in that area of Texas. Long way from me. almost to Jetmore, the big city of Jetmore, Kansas. Fun fact, Jetmore has a cop. They have a day shift cop and they have a night shift cop. So if you ever come through Jetmore, Kansas, slow down. They will get you. I'd go ahead and let it play till we get to Jetmore. I mean, I don't want y'all missing out on the big city of Jetmore. I could sing. Yeah, that would kill every subscriber I've got. Not going to do that. Oh, I got my radio down. I just realized that. Put my radio up so I can, my CB. I don't use it as much down here because there's no one on it, and when there is somebody on it, it's just crap. That's all it is crap. There's nothing useful on it down here. Now it's a lifeline up in Alaska, but down here, people just don't take it serious. And so, when people wonder, why don't more people listen to CBs anymore? Well, why? It's just guys bumping their gums on them now. You always got some guys got diarrhea of the mouth or something. Sign. Oh, shoulder closed. Next 16 miles. There is no shoulder. So, who cares? Straight as a board, and out of the blue you get these curves in it. I try to get these videos close to an hour as possible because I used to get a lot of complaints from people. They were too short. And I get that. But I don't want to bore you to death either. I mean, look at this. But some people enjoy this. I mean, I would say it's dark. There's not much to see, but, no offense to Kansas, but, I mean, there's not really much to see anyway. guess with Texas, Nebraska, all these central states, the further east you go, you get more trees and a little more civilization and such. Side of the road, there's a bush. Here comes the big city of Jetmore. Don't know how much jetting they do, but apparently it's more. I have stopped here before and taken a break. Really no place to stop. You can park along the side of the road up here. There's a couple of closed businesses. Sometimes he'll sit right here at this crossroads. The cop, I mean. Don't see him tonight. That was Jetmore, Kansas. I'll go ahead and end the video. And I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to get more videos out. I'm trying to do some more current events and things like that. Some more, I don't know, I guess maybe some advice. 30 plus years of driving. Doing just about everything there is to do in this business. And for you oversized guys, yes, I've done a little, not much. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on it. I've done it a couple of times, some oversized stuff, so I can technically say I've done it, but I wouldn't go bragging that I've got experience doing it. I try to give a little advice, whatever, like say current events, stuff like this, you know. Anyway, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.